Hi, I'm Matt Pavich. Thank you so much for tuning in to the first episode of The Episodes with Matt Pavich. It's a bipolar podcast. I am bipolar 1, and that's what we're mostly going to be talking about on this podcast. I hope it's fun. I hope it's informative. Hope you get some laughs. I don't know anything. Really, I know my own struggles that I've had with the disease. I'm really looking forward to destigmatizing bipolar 1 and having some really cool guests on, some psychologists, some psychiatrists, some therapists, some people with bipolar, some people that have seen me bipolar, have seen me manic, have seen me depressed. We're going to get into all of it. So enjoy. My first guest is my youngest sister, Sarah. She's wonderful. You're going to love her. So thank you so much for tuning into the episodes. Enjoy. Woo! We are doing it. This is the first episode of the episodes with Matt Pavich. I am Matt Pavich. I have with me my youngest sister, Sarah. Say hello.
Hello.
As I've said, I am bipolar 1. That has negatively and positively affected my life in many ways. My lives. You could say I've had lives.
Mm-hmm. Sure have.
So my sister and I wanted to sort of open up the dialogue about how it feels loving someone with bipolar and being someone with bipolar. So I asked her to write some questions for me, and she wrote some questions for me, and I have not seen them yet.
He has not, no.
So it might get a little weird, but yeah, ask away.
All right, well, first question, I guess, kind of feels like a cop-out because it's really just putting it back on you, but I think it's important to highlight your firsthand experience because, I know what I've experienced or the whole family's experienced, through your episodes and, whether you're manic or even, when you're super down and depressed, but I think it's important to kind of highlight what you experience and what it's like for you and kind of when you were diagnosed from that first episode, which was almost 10 years ago now or something?
12 years ago.
12 years,
I was
wow,
20,
okay.
And I am
oh my God, we get old.
32 now. Don't tell the industry. Do not tell Hollywood that I'm 32. I can still play 26.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So that was a twofold question. What has my experience been like?
What has it been like for you to kind of cope and navigate having mental illness and how does it change your day to day? And
of course, it has taken me many years to figure that out. No pun intended. It's been a tough pill to swallow, and then having to swallow pills was something I was not willing to do for a long time.
Yeah, well, it's also just such a stigma, and also it's whether you're manic or not, it always just has some sort of negative impact, because when you are manic, you're feeling really, really great, and then going back on a pill sends you down into a slump. I feel like it's only as of late that you've sort of
I've finally come to grips with the fact that I need to be on medicine to stay out of the psych ward.
Yeah.
It's been almost 3 years since I've been out of the slammer, as I like to call it. Yeah. I like to call the psych ward the slammer.
Mom does not like that.
I know. Nobody likes it, especially people that have actually been to prison probably feel like that's sort of a cop-out.
It is a form of prison.
Yeah, it is, for sure. But it's been such a wild ride and journey, obviously. It's hard for me to
articulate,
fully encapsulate what my experience with it is. I can, in very basic terms, say that when I'm manic, I feel better than any drug that I've ever taken in my whole life. Mm-hmm. It's just every thought that I have feels amazing. Every idea that I have feels like it's going to be the next big thing.
The confidence.
The confidence is at an all-time 1,000,000% high. But my thoughts are I know that to you guys, I am so obviously disassociated from reality, but they feel crisp and clear, and I don't realize that I'm going on tangents at all. I don't realize that I'm not telling the truth.
So you don't ever have like your moments of clarity where you're like, oh, maybe I'm off. I feel like it always comes after like weeks of maybe you exhausting yourself where you'll finally be like, okay, I should go to the hospital. But then even then, moments later, you're like, I don't need to be here. Like, is that you convincing yourself, or do you genuinely...
I'm hoping that now that I'm in therapy and now that I'm seeing a psychiatrist regularly and I have the support of the family and Katie and, you know, that I will be able to identify if and when the next manic episode comes better than I have. But I've been so bad at that. I always just tell you guys that I'm hypomanic and that I'm not full-blown manic. And there might be some truth to that in the beginning when you guys are seeing me just a little more elevated, a little more confident. You know, hypomania is a thing, but it always, for me, does lead to a manic episode.
Yeah.
So,
although I will say, like, you've been so incredible as of late. Like, it's the only one, like, a pandemic hits and, like, really just turned your life right around.
well,
I'm
I couldn't
crying
go out.
well, that was great for you.
It was huge for me. I couldn't go out. I couldn't go party. I couldn't go do anything. And I also made the life-altering decision to be sober.
Yeah.
I know it's only been less than a year, so it's like...
That's really impressive. People can't
Thank
go a
you.
weekend. Like, really.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I forget who I was talking to, but they told me, like, you shouldn't tell anybody that you're sober until you've made a year. And here I was, like, posting, like, 100 days!
We had a party.
We had a full-blown party for my 100th day of sobriety. And people were like, yeah, you haven't done shit until it's been a year, kid. I don't remember who it was, but maybe that's good advice, maybe that's bad advice. I'm not really sure. But yeah, I'm really hoping that I'm in a space now where I will be able to identify the next manic or depressive episode that I have. You know, the depression episodes, I fear that almost more than the manic episodes.
Yeah.
Because it just fucking sucks so bad and sucks the creativity out of me in a way that I can't even express, really. Of course, they're sawing or vacuuming as we're shooting. My next door neighbors are building a house. Yeah. How bad is that in the headphones? Not that bad? Okay, good. Yeah, I'm really hoping that with the team we have in place right now, I will be able to identify the characteristics and I should go over those. So for me, when I'm manic, I chain smoke cigarettes. I talk way faster and
very loud music.
Yeah, I talk way faster and louder than I usually do, and more. I'm not like a talkative person by nature, but when I'm manic, I'm just can't shut me up. The music, I blast loud music, so loud. My girlfriend's Uber rating plummeted. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, no.
Katie's Uber rating plummeted.
You can find the humor in that one.
Plummeted when she first started dating me because I was in the throes of a manic episode and I would
just switch to Lyft.
Lyft was down. Lyft was down. We started going to Lyft because I would just get in the car and be like, turn this Drake up, turn this, turn my own music up. It's another telltale sign that I'm manic. I rap or just sing. Like I just make my own music and it's bad.
You got the creative juices flowing.
Yeah, the juices are just constantly flowing. And then when I'm depressed, we all know those symptoms more than we know manic ones. Can't get out of bed. My brain is just like in a fog. I can't even articulate a sentence really.
I always describe my depression as like I feel like there's a magnet, like that. Like I can't get up. I can't do the things that my mind is racing and constantly telling me I should be doing, and I'm pathetic, I'm a piece of shit, why am I not able to get this done with my day? But it feels like there's a magnet that's drawing me towards the nothingness.
Yeah, drawing me towards the bed.
Yeah.
Just go to bed and close your eyes and it'll hopefully be better tomorrow. But then like you panic right before you go to sleep, where you're like, what if it's not better tomorrow?
Oh, well, there's that too.
I have to do this again. That would fucking suck if I had to do this again. And then that day,
lo and behold,
that day comes and it's the same shit, and you just can't fucking get out of it. It really sucks.
Yeah.
And I've voiced this to you before. I don't know if you remember, but so the mania for you guys is terrible.
Yeah.
Because I'm a danger to society and to myself. But for me, the mania is really fun.
Yeah.
Because of all the things I just said. It feels like this amazing drug you're on.
I remember it breaks my heart you were saying that it felt like we prefer you to be like depressive.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
Not that you prefer it, it's just way more manageable. I'm in the house, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I might not be showering, but that's not really like affecting you got like the family as much, and the overall like fear that you guys must live in when I'm manic and not answering my phone and out for 3 days and you don't know where the fuck I am and you're trying to keep tabs on me. So there's none of that. But for me, it's way more painful.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, just trying to get through the fucking day. And, so that is something that I'm sure a lot of people with bipolar can identify with, is like you almost crave the mania in a weird way. Not like, because you know how destructive it is and you know how bad it is for you, and you know that it's going to, when you come to, you're going to be like, oh, fuck, I can't believe I did any of those things or said any of that shit.
Well, that's also a really interesting thing to touch on, because you say when you come to, something that I really didn't realize until maybe like your third or fourth episode is that you had one time said like you have blackouts.
Full
of
blackouts.
Like not like getting, like, it's not alcohol induced, that's not why you're having these blackouts, they're just actual
holes in my brain that I don't remember things. People will tell me full stories of when they met me, and I'm just like, not only do I not really remember meeting you, I don't remember that story at all.
Yeah, that's just so wild. What has that done with your relationships then? Because I know you've said that then once you come out of your mania and you feel like you've given yourself a beat and you go back to doing shows, feeling a little bit more like yourself, of knowing like how you've behaved in like comedy clubs or like on jobs, and then having to deal with like, okay, so that wasn't me, but I don't necessarily remember what I did, but like,
and you can't really explain to someone, hey, last time I met you, I'm manic, I'm bipolar. It's like the guilt is inexplicable. How much guilt I have.
We shouldn't be holding on to that.
I know. I'm trying to, through therapy and journaling, get all of that guilt out. But there's people that have met me one time when I was manic and think I'm that person.
Yeah, exactly. I
have to live with that, like, oh my God, that's gross. I'm so far from that person. Like, I would never... I can't think of an example, but like defend that behavior or act like that or talk. There's things I don't know that I've said. There's, it's hard to gauge, but I would never, I'm not that person, but I am that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was me, but it was a shitty version of me who's doped up on all the weird chemicals that your brain shoots out when you're
manic. And also
manic.
the lack of sleep.
The lack of sleep is huge.
Number.
Oh, I should have mentioned that. That is a huge side effect.
Sleep?
I don't know what it's called. Symptom, yeah. I don't sleep for days.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 days, no sleep.
I think that's
so bad for your brain.
Yeah.
That's why, like, everyone's talking about like this hustle culture and like,
no, it's honestly bullshit.
No sleep.
It's so unhealthy. Like everyone sleep, eat, like take care of yourselves.
Stop grinding. No one cares that you're grinding. Like go to bed. Sleep is so, and that's I sleep probably too much, not probably, definitely too much, but that is like better to me than not getting enough sleep. It's so much more healthy. I have a hard time getting out of bed still because I take my medicine at nighttime now.
Yeah, and then that'll...
so it's hard to like get out of bed or whatever.
You just need to play golf every morning.
I need.
The only time I'll text you every other day, whatever. I'm up early, so I'll shoot you a text like 7, and sometimes I'm like, hey, when you wake up, let me know. And most days it's like noon.
Yeah.
But the occasional times where you text me right back, I'm like, he's golfing.
I'm golfing.
He's
You're right.
golfing.
That is golf. One-hand touch football that I play in Queens with a group of idiot Queens friends since I'm 14 years old. I can get up for that. Work 60% of the time. 60% of the time I get up for work.
Katie's shaking her head.
Yeah, not without you, but I get up. Yeah. So I don't know if I answered the question.
No, you definitely did. But
Yeah.
I think you also saying that you struggle with the idea of like somebody having only met you one time and thinking that's a representation. I hope that like
that's one part of the guilt.
Yeah.
The other part of the guilt is like I've told people that I love that I think Bill Cosby was innocent. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because I'm that far gone.
No,
you know what
I know, yeah, for sure.
So people I really love and care about, I've argued awful, horrible things just because I'm like combative.
Yeah.
And I like arguing when I'm manic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to like face these people in my workplace at comedy clubs and out, and they go, hey, remember that time you did this awful thing? And I'm like, yeah, I wish I didn't do that. I did that wasn't. So the guilt is a real fucker.
Well, I think that's one of the things that I hope, like, whether anybody who's listening to this, is struggling with being bipolar or knows somebody that they love, or you don't have any exposure to it, but maybe it's taken my level of, like, empathy and understanding, I feel like, to even a greater degree, because even people you see on the street, it's just so easy to be like, oh my God, that guy's a dick, or that, like, to really take a moment and be like,
no.
What are they dealing with? You have no idea. Sometimes, they could just be a dick. But
Sure.
sometimes, it's like this person could really be struggling. They don't have the support, or they do. It's hard to get a handle. It's like just have more empathy and understanding of like what somebody could be going through.
I feel that 1,000,000%. I mean, people posting videos of homeless people doing shitty stuff on the internet makes me cringe.
No idea.
So hard every time. I'm just like, oh, you think it's funny that this guy is, shitting in the street? Like, you have no idea
what it takes to get to that place.
Yeah. And I think, my lucky stars or whatever I believe in, every day that I have a family that has not gotten sick of,
oh my God, stop.
it's nothing, no slight to you guys. I could understand, there's people that have been hospitalized 20 times. You go, what am I supposed to do at this point?
It's really hard to watch because I think that's something that you need to understand as well, is like when you love somebody that struggles with this, you are so unrecognizable, like to the point where it might sound like cuckoo, but I actually mean it. Like your eyes change. That's something that we've like always said, and I don't know, it's just like.
What happens to my eyes?
It's like, it's gonna sound nuts, but like, have you ever seen in movies like when a shark smells blood and it's like all pupil, like you're fully dilated, and I like can tell I'm like he's not slept, and
I wonder if that's like scientific, or it's like just something you guys see, or like it's an actual. We should look that up.
We should look
Let's
that
make
up.
a note of that.
I have read though that like there are certain physical changes that can happen. I mean, I don't know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there are some physical changes.
I mean, there's a lot of physical changes for me. Okay. I get weird haircuts that I cut myself.
You wear
cut my own hair.
Cheetah shorts.
I wear a lot of accessories. That's how my friends always say. My comedy friends are like, we know something's up when you're like wearing a hat and a necklace and a bracelet and maybe like
Bandanas.
a bandana.
Mm-hmm.
Bandana. Bandana is a telltale sign that your boy is manic, which sucks because like bandanas are,
I know you ruined you rapping and bandanas.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not trying to be insensitive. I hope it's like important to like bring humor into
That's
you
what
know,
we're
like
trying
our
to do.
experiences.
Don't be insensitive. This is our experience. We don't
Yeah.
have to.
I know.
It's not being insensitive.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's no slight to anyone wearing a bandana. Bandanas are cool. But yeah, what other physical changes? This is gonna sound weird, but I get like pretty jacked. Like
No, that's not going to sound weird. You know Gab. That's the first thing that he'll say. He gets so PO'd.
Gab is your husband, my
Yes, he
brother-in-law,
is, yeah.
who's awesome. We love Gab.
Love him.
Yeah, you know better than I do what he's.
Oh my god. Well, like, you can, like, lift a penny and just get, like, really swole in a matter
Yeah.
of 2 seconds. But that is something when you are manic. I don't know what it is. Maybe you're just, like, feeling really, like, hyped, so you're more, like, physical and out. But, like,
I
you
play
do
sports.
get very jacked.
I
Yes.
play a lot of sports.
Yeah.
For some reason, like I don't need to eat as much, so that might be something
Yeah.
that my appetite slows down a little bit.
I think it's just like even like when you do drugs, like your appetite doing like I think your body is just like pumping a lot of adrenaline into you at
Yeah.
you know
and I
all
also
hours of the day.
do drugs when
Well,
I'm
yeah,
manic.
that as well. That is very true. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we have to cut for a second. Don't cut it yet. We will be right back with more of the episodes. This is just a little intermission because the camera only rolls for 26 minutes and we have to do this. But stay tuned. We got some more questions, more stuff, more funnies, more life, more everything. And we're back. We have some more questions from my dear sister, Sarah.
Yes.
You want to just shoot another one at me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you were kind of like covering the changes that happens like during an episode, but I'm kind of curious of like what you've implemented in your life to kind of help you manage that. Because like you said, it's been nearly 3 years and I don't know. I just think there was probably a point in time where the support system that you have in place had less of a handle on it. And it feels so much more like helpless and hopeless. And so I'm just curious, like what you've done, because I do feel like it is a bit more manageable now between
yeah,
like therapy
it's
and
been-
medication and what
Yeah.
that's been like.
For sure. It's been 3 years, to clarify, since the last time I was hospitalized.
Yes, sorry, that's what I mean. Yeah.
And I think since I've had like any manic traits or tendencies, Katie's mentioned a couple times that like I've been a little hypo at times and then I just sleep more.
Oh yeah,
and-
that's what I was talking about beforehand when we were talking about like the pandemic and you doing well. There is a level of like PTSD that I feel like we've kind of felt of like in moments I feel like such an asshole because you'll start to be doing really well and I'm like, oh no, is this like an episode coming on? And it's hard sometimes to detect and I wonder like if
Yeah,
you
I
have
talk
a
about
better hold
that
on that.
a lot, how that's like the shittiest part of the disease. Is like, oh, I feel good. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I feel good.
Yeah.
Why do I feel good? Is it because I'm doing all these things that I'm supposed to be doing? Or is it some unnatural, like, here we go again? Oh, fuck, thing happening? But I really have been, like, trying so hard to do the work. I haven't missed one day of medication.
You've been incredible. I'm like, yeah.
Thank you. But I've been taking my meds religiously. That has been huge. I'm not going to say like which meds I take because I don't want anyone
No, it's
to.
no one size fits all.
Yeah, it took me a long time to figure out which meds work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very happy that happened. And if they want to sponsor the pod, maybe I'll.
Maybe we'll drop it in there.
Shout out which meds I'm on.
I thought that was so funny when you were saying that like people were coming up to you after the shows because now you've started incorporating, you know, being bipolar into your sets a bit more.
Yeah.
You're like, what if I become like the poster child?
Yeah, the
for these
bipolar
medications?
comedian, and then everyone in the audience is just manic,
Oh.
and I have to, you know,
Yeah.
be that guy. But yeah, sobriety,
Yeah.
huge. I've never felt more clear in my thoughts and they told me as soon as I was diagnosed, buddy, I'm sorry, you're just gonna have to be sober. That's it. It's just the way it goes. You've been dealt a shitty hand. I know you like to party, but you just. And I was like, nah, fuck that. I remember one time Grandpa was the room with me, and I was with Grandpa and Dan. And Dan's like, you really got to cut back. And my grandpa was like,
Wait, Dan Davies and Grandpa? That's very funny.
And he was like, you really got to chill out. Like, this is what the doctors are telling you. And I was like, what? I can't have one beer? And I look at Grandpa. I'm like, I can't have one beer? And Grandpa looks at me and goes, I guess you could have one beer.
Just like the worst person.
Why can't he have one beer? Yeah, I guess you could have one, but that's it. That's enough. And like, obviously that wasn't the way I was drinking ever.
You have Dan being like, please no. And Grandpa like, meh.
Hey, what's one? Yeah. So sobriety, huge. Finally, so glad that I figured out that is unnecessary.
Sobriety.
Therapy. Yeah. Huge. Every week, me and Sam, we chat it out. Yeah. It sucked during the pandemic that it's been like over the phone.
I surprisingly really liked it.
You like over the phone?
Yeah.
Do you do like video conferencing or just over the phone?
Interestingly enough, I'm one of those weirdos where like I've gone through a couple therapists, and in my first one, she could obviously tell by my body language. I don't know that like I wasn't comfortable with the face-to-face. Like I'm more shifty and like, fidgety. So she had me sit in a chair with my back towards her. That was my first therapist. And then this one, I only started seeing for like 2 weeks before the pandemic hit. And so like we were just doing it over the phone, and it was a few months in. It was probably like 6 months or something where she was like, everyone's been doing Zoom. You keep like avoiding that. And I was like, this says a lot about me that I like rather be on the phone. So now we're on Zoom, but I don't know. I like it.
You like the Zoom?
Yeah, I don't mind it,
I feel like I can lie more over the phone.
Interesting.
I'm not being as honest. I'm like, I don't know.
Have you tried Zoom?
I don't think I'm going in tomorrow for the first time since COVID.
Okay,
I'm going back in. We're going in the room.
Wow.
Yeah. He was like, are you vaccinated? I said, yes, I'm vaccinated. He said, you can come into the hospital. I said, okay.
Cool.
And that's a little weird because I go to the hospital at Bellevue.
Yeah, is that like a little PTSD?
Every single time there's a little PTSD of like, I remember going through this hallway and like not being well. And
that's rough.
You see the emergency room, and that's always like a shitty whole situation because they keep you in like the examination psych ward at first, and then you're like down there and like people aren't doing great all around you, but you're all like in the same room, and they're like monitoring your every move. I don't know how it's supposed to help, but they have to have some sort of system. They can't just send you right up.
Yeah.
So it's like an incubation, like they just watch you, period. And it is scary, I'll tell you.
Yeah. And you don't like the phone sessions?
No, but the phone, I don't know what it is about phone therapy, but it's just like, I feel like I can
avoid things more.
I can avoid, when he's looking me in the eye, there's like a honesty that I have to live by that I don't feel like is the same over the phone.
Your body language also changes too, and like there are things that you can pick up just by looking at somebody, and they don't even have to say anything, and you can like read them more over the phone. I guess there's a bit more of a disconnect. But sorry. So
no.
Sobriety, therapy.
Taking my meds.
Yeah. So you've been journaling, right?
I haven't been journaling. I've been like writing about it and talking about it on stage, and like that seems like a very unfair thing to try and, I guess, putting it into your art is like, not every bipolar person is an artist, but there is like a lot of crossover with, creativity and mental illness.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
So I guess like using it in your art in some way is like
cathartic,
very cathartic.
But it's also, I feel like, really debilitating sometimes as well. When like, I don't know, writing or doing any sort of art form, whether it's photography or singing or writing, whatever it is, like that's what's supposed to be your outlet, but at the same time it's so hard to self-motivate when you feel like you're struggling as well,
It's just like gratifying in a weird way that maybe is
Good.
self-indulgent.
I don't think it's self-indulgent.
I don't
It's
know.
your release.
It is my release. It is my release. You're right, and that's how I'm using it. But not everyone has one of those, I don't think. So I should journal. I say every day that I'm going to start journaling,
Yeah.
and I don't do it. I've been saying it for years. I've dabbled in journaling where I do like 3 pages a day. I was doing it for like a solid 2 months, month and a half.
Oh, you just like free
2 weeks.
a day?
A day.
But you just like
Just free write.
mind dump.
Mind dump, get it out right in the morning, first thing that you do. It feels great. I don't know why I stopped doing it. I'm realizing right now that I'm going to start doing it again. It was so dumb that I stopped. So yeah, I'm going to do that again.
I've tried doing journaling, but I don't know. It's like I'm a creative type A. I need like the structure of like I have like my questions for every day, and then
Why don't you get one of those journals that gives you prompts?
yeah, I know, but I like coming up with my own prompts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That works too. I think the most I've gotten out of journaling is when I go, no one's going to read this.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't need to write like someone's going to read this.
Oh, that was my problem. Is like I would really, I would
You'd
write
be
as
scared.
if
Someone's going to find this.
Yeah.
And it needs to.
it messed me up because Mom one time, Mandy's journal was just like on her bed and she read it. So now sometimes I'll be like writing as if I know somebody's gonna
You're
read.
right. Like, hey, Mom, please put
Hey
this
Mom,
down.
put it down. Cut that out. This is an invasion of my privacy.
Mom
No.
read Mandy's journal?
Yeah, she was like, it was right on the bed. I'm like,
That doesn't
that
mean
doesn't
anything.
mean a thing. Yeah.
Are you
know?
Are you watching Mayor of Easttown?
Oh my God! When I went to go visit Mandy when we were out in LA and I
Yeah.
stayed behind, we got into like the first 2 episodes, but that was all that it was put out, and it was so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, I need to get into it.
Speaking of journals, that's
Oh,
what I
I
was
don't know
gonna-
what that means,
Oh, yeah,
but now
yeah,
I gotta
yeah,
find out.
Yeah. Mandy's into it big. Mandy's our other sister.
Yeah,
We
there's
have
a lot of us.
There's 3 sisters and 1 boy.
Poor guy.
Yeah, Mandy, Marlena, and Sarah.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Marlena's the oldest, so
Yeah.
I probably should have said
I'm
her
the
name
youngest.
first. She's the youngest. Mandy's in the middle. I'm in the middle.
2 middle child.
Yeah. Any Houdini. Though that is how I have gotten better and continue to stay better.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't stress this enough. Go to therapy, take your meds, be sober, and journal.
Yeah.
Even though I don't journal
But you will tomorrow.
religiously,
Starting tomorrow.
I will start journaling, and I'll report back on how good it feels because it feels great every time I do it. I don't know why I stopped.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you have that experience. But I guess, okay, so those are the things that have helped you. Those are like your tools. But
Yes.
you've also said in the past, I remember, your dad's side of the family, I guess I have to preface that we're like technically half siblings, although that's like bullshit, whatever. But your dad's
Bullshit.
side of the family, bullshit.
Yeah.
Your dad's side of the family, you've like seen struggling with mental illness throughout your
Yes.
life, and now you have, and you've expressed, your struggle with the idea of wanting to have kids of your own, and like, if you think that that's something that would affect them. And now that you've had, I guess, 12 years of dealing with this, and you've done your own research, as of like all of us have, to try and like understand this thing that I feel like people still know so little about.
Yeah.
Do you think there's like an argument for nature versus nurture? Do you think it's genetics? Do you think it's like...
I think part of it is genetics for sure. Some families just deal with this shit, and the more people that I talk to that have it, there's someone else in their family that does. I think there's a huge nurture part to it too, the way people abuse drugs and alcohol to cope, and then that fucks you up even more. The whole me being scared of having kids thing is real, very real. It feels like irresponsible almost in some way. Like, the bloodline should stop with me.
No.
I'm allergic to potatoes.
that I'm more fearful of you passing on to your kids. I can't give the kid a French fry. That fucking sucks.
I'm allergic to potatoes. I'm allergic to the earth. My seasonal allergies have been out of control.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to avocados.
You keep adding on to this list. We got eggplant, tomato, avocado.
Nightshades in general.
Yeah, well, I
just
think that
bad.
makes everybody feel funky.
I don't know, but it makes people feel funky. It doesn't make people feel like they're going to die.
Yeah, no, I don't feel like I'm going to die.
I have
Yeah.
near-death experiences when I eat potatoes.
Well, no, potatoes. Yeah,
Yes.
I'm on the nightshades. I know that.
So I'm, allergic to potatoes, allergic to avocados. Yeah. I have a deep history of mental health issues in the family. Maybe you adopt. Maybe you adopt a kid.
Well, no, so your girlfriend, Katie, she's
crying right now in the corner. she's realizing. Yeah. Honey, I'm done.
Well, no, she gifted me
It's just a real fear.
Of course.
I'm not saying I'm not going to have kids. I'm saying this is
That's something a lot of people probably struggle with as well,
Yeah.
But no, she had gifted me the book, The Body Keeps the Score, which flipped my world upside down.
The Body Keeps the Score.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
By?
Bessel van der Kolk.
You recommend?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunately has to be more of a slow read because there's just like so much to digest. But at one point in the book, he's talking about mental illness and how much money and research they've put into trying to find the tie between genetics and mental illness, and they've put a lot of money, a lot of time, and there's actually not a lot of concrete evidence saying that it's genetics. It's something more like epigenetics, I think it's called, where it's basically passed down traits that don't affect the DNA.
Interesting.
I mean, if it makes total sense though. Like you can pass down trauma,
Oh, 100%.
And yeah, I feel like that's more of the cycle that people need to break, is just like
passing down
behavioral aspects and learned behavior and things of that nature, that it can actually, I think, like alter something within you that you then pass down to your child, but it's not I don't know, like catching an illness per se, it's not like that.
Right.
But I think it was really eye-opening too, reading that and hearing about all these different cases, and they have things called like ACE scores where based on your upbringing, you can like be a certain score. I think it's like 6 is the highest one or something like that.
Okay.
Where if you have this high number because you've been exposed to abuse or whatever it is, the likelihood of you then dealing with things like addiction or mental health or illnesses or whatever like that just goes way up, like your likelihood of that. And I think that when you take a deeper look at like our family's history, both maternal and paternal, and seeing all the things that are passed down, that's something that people really neglect, and more resources should be put into focusing.
Studying how trauma is passed down more than...
Yeah, and I'm not saying that there isn't an element of like, you've seen people in your family deal with that and now you do. Like, I'm not discrediting that, but I think that resources can go beyond medicine. I don't know. In schools and homes and education. And
no, I think that's a great point, and I should read that book because Lord knows I have my own traumas that I am trying to figure out. But that's really interesting. That makes more sense in a weird way.
Yeah, I mean, she has the book.
She does have the book.
We can have a little book club. But did you see the movie 3 Identical Strangers?
That's about the brothers that got separated at birth.
Unbelievable. Yes. Remember, it was like, guy went to college and his friend mistook him for somebody else. He was like, oh my God, you are my friend's twin. They met. They were actually twins. They go on a TV show to be like, we were separated at birth.
A third guy
watching the news is like, all right, we're triplets. But it was wild to see the upbringing. I don't want to like spoil it for anyone.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
Oh, well then.
Check it out.
All right, well then I can't make my point. But
make your point.
It's saying nature versus nurture, and you could see the clear differences between them.
That shit's been on Netflix for years. If you haven't seen it yet, Fast forward.
Merlin is going to call me and yell at me. She hates spoilers. But whatever. It just shows the different, like, the tragic differences between them and, like, how they were raised. And if you look at the parents, you know, there was clearly one set of parents that raised one of the twins, were triplets, and did not end well for him. You know, there's just such a difference in, like, how you parent.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes more sense, and my mind is actually exploded a little bit.
No, I don't know about that.
No, seriously.
Well, it's this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta check it out. That makes, you said it's eugenics over genetics?
Epigenics. Epigenetics. Oh my God, I'm
so dumb.
I'm so dumb. I'm bringing something
Eugenics
up.
is like a whole other.
No, it's genetics versus epigenetics.
Epigenetics.
Yeah, I've been saying epigenics. Whoops, my bad.
It's okay. Epigenetics.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I don't know. I just wasn't sure if like you had given. That.
I mean, yeah, I don't know, but it's weird with the bipolar. Is like it happens at the same age almost for everybody.
No, totally, yeah.
That seems like it's got to be some sort of chemical imbalance thing that you're born with. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
No, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. No, for sure.
Yeah, that's the whole issue. Is like, how does nobody know at this point?
Yeah.
There's been people bipolar for, since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
Do some more research. Scientists.
Yeah, looking at you. Yeah, I don't know.
We don't even know the words. We're like, be smarter, scientists.
Yeah, epigenetics.
Yeah.
That was like today I was saying edited. Why is that one so hard?
Which one? Editing?
Edited. I edited. I don't know. I feel like I'm just saying it incorrectly.
No, you're saying it right. It's just a tough word.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but well, I don't know. It's very brings me a lot of hope hearing you like having tools for yourself and doing something like this of starting a podcast. Like, what is your kind of hope for it, and what kind of kickstarted it, made you want to do this? I've
been, obviously wanting to start a podcast for a long time. I didn't really understand, have an angle or like a thing. And then I recently did a show, and this kid DM'd me afterwards and said that my jokes about being bipolar inspired him to get back on his medicine. And I thought, that's the coolest fucking thing I've ever done in my whole life. I would be able to reach more people and put out more content about it if I did a podcast. Stand up, you can only reach so many people.
Yeah.
There's 200, 300 people in the room, sometimes even way less. But I thought of this, and Katie came up with a great name for it, the episodes.
Oh, it is
and
great, yeah.
I said, I'm gonna fucking do this. And then we spoke about it, and you said, I thought it'd be a great idea for you to interview me the first episode, and I think that's kind of what we did. And thank you for doing this.
Of course, yeah. I'm really proud of you, and I hope that this can provide a tool for, even if it's just one other person,
in
addition to meds and journaling and therapy and whatever it is. But I don't know. I think it's wild how much of a gaping hole there is for creatives, specifically comedy, because it's so funny, talking about such dark things but making light of it, and how it can be therapeutic for you, and how so many people, that you don't even know are struggling, are then getting up on stage and trying to make you laugh. And I don't know. I hope that it can provide that for somebody else. Yeah.
And thank you so much for being part of the first one.
Oh my God, I hope I did all right.
You did great.
I've been trembling this whole time.
You shouldn't be trembling. You were great.
I'm the most in my head. Well, thanks.
Do you want to plug anything? You want to plug
Hail
your podcast?
I got no podcast. I got nothing.
Shout out to who makes your favorite sandwich?
That's so embarrassing.
No, it's funny. Leo's in Brooklyn?
Gav knows the guy who owns it, and we have a t-shirt, and I think it's getting ridiculous how much we love certain restaurants where it's calm down,
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you for being part
of course. I love you. Thanks for asking me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to the first episode of the episodes with Matt Pavich. I hope that was informative. I hope it was fun. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe. We really appreciate it. And come back and listen to some more episodes. Thank you.